The courtroom was silent, all eyes locked on the young woman standing just a few feet from the bench. 27-year-old teacher Hannah Freeman had walked in, smiling, confident, and convinced this day would go her way. She leaned toward the judge and whispered words that now seemed haunting. "You won't see me back here again." She thought this was routine, a formality. She thought her charm and her plea would shield her, but within seconds everything collapsed. The judge's voice cut through the silence, each word like a hammer blow. 90 days of house arrest, counseling, and 7 days in county jail. The smile vanished. Her shoulders shook. Tears poured as she turned to her lawyer in disbelief. Moments ago she was untouchable. Now she was broken. But how did a promising fourth-grade teacher, once trusted by parents, admired by students, end up here, trembling in a courtroom, begging for mercy? To understand that, we have to go back to the beginning. Hannah Freeman seemed on the surface like a woman who had it all. She was young, ambitious, and educated. She taught at Ranger High-Tech Academy in North Ridgeville, Ohio. Students described her as energetic. Parents saw her as dependable, and colleagues believed she had a bright career ahead. But behind the smile was something else, an obsession brewing that no one could see. It began with heartbreak. In 2024, Hannah's long-term relationship came to a painful end. Friends would later say she wasn't herself afterward. She refused to let go. The breakup, instead of being the end of a chapter, became the start of something darker. At first, it was subtle. She drove past his house. She scrolled through his social media. She sent messages late at night, waiting for a reply that never came. But then the behavior escalated. She began showing up uninvited, at his home, his workplace, even his parents' house. Investigators would later discover the shocking truth. Over just 19 days, Hannah made 33 visits. 33 uninvited appearances, each one a violation, each one pushing the limits of fear. And then came the thefts. Her ex reported items missing from his car, backpacks, a laptop, even his wallet. In total, nearly $1,000 gone. At first, he didn't want to call police. He thought maybe she would stop. Maybe she just needed time. But the fear only grew. One night, he finally dialed 911. His voice on the recording was tense, uneasy. "My ex-girlfriend. She keeps stalking me. She parks next to me. She follows me home every night." The dispatcher asked how long it had been happening. "About a month now," he admitted. He detailed the thefts, the harassment, the way she appeared like a shadow wherever he went. That night, officers drove to his workplace, and there she was, parked outside, waiting. When police approached, Hannah tried to brush it off. She claimed he had invited her. She said they'd even gone to dinner together. But when officers pressed her ex, his answer was firm. "No, I never invited her. She follows me. She stole from me." He listed the items, medication he needed, his car keys, his laptop, his wallet. And worse, she had used his credit cards, making charges on Amazon. This wasn't just heartbreak anymore. This was stalking. This was theft. This was harassment. Police reports would later reveal another disturbing layer. This wasn't Hannah's first time in trouble. Back in 2022, North Ridgeville police had been called to her residence after noise complaints. Neighbors claimed she laughed off the officers, telling them she would never face consequences because her father was the city's police chief. It was a claim that sent ripples of anger through the community. Was she protected? Did she believe she was truly above the law? Her confidence only fueled suspicion. But now, with mounting evidence, there was no shield left. Westlake police arrested her. Body cam footage shows the moment. "Turn around. Put your hands behind your back," an officer commanded. "I'm putting it down. I'm putting it down," Hannah said nervously as she set her phone aside. Her voice trembled. The reality was sinking in. The charges were serious: stalking, theft, and multiple related counts. A young teacher once respected was suddenly the face of scandal. Parents were shocked. Colleagues whispered. The community buzzed with disbelief. Still, months later, Hannah believed she could escape the worst. She accepted a plea deal, 3 misdemeanors. No felonies. She must have thought this was the end. Probation, maybe community service, some counseling. Then she could move on, but sentencing day would shatter that illusion. She entered the courtroom with the same smile she had worn for months, confident, dismissive. She stood tall as if the outcome was already written. She told the judge in her own words, "I regret the incident. I acted out of emotion. You won't see me here again. The judge listened, and then came the moment. The first 90 days you'll be on house arrest with work release, he said firmly. You'll undergo mental health counseling, particularly to establish healthy boundaries. And you will serve the first 7 days of this probation in county jail. You are remanded. The words sliced through the air. Hannah's face fell. Her composure cracked. Tears streamed down as she turned to her lawyer, whispering frantically, begging for a way out. Her attorney rose quickly, trying to withdraw the guilty plea, claiming they hadn't expected jail time, that Hannah had not been prepared. But the judge was unmoved. The plea stood. The sentence was final. The courtroom watched as a confident young teacher dissolved before their eyes. Minutes earlier, she had promised she would never be back. Now she was escorted out, her freedom suddenly gone. The reaction was swift. Her teaching contract expired. The school moved on quietly. Parents whispered in parking lots. Social media erupted when the video of her breakdown hit the internet. A young woman who thought she was beyond reach was now a viral symbol of obsession, arrogance, and consequence. The lesson was brutal but clear. Plea deals don't guarantee mercy. Judges have the final word, and stalking, even fueled by heartbreak, crosses a line that can't be ignored. So the question remains, was justice served that day? Or did the judge go too far, humiliating a first-time offender who had already lost her career? What do you think? Should Hannah Freeman have walked away with probation and counseling? Or was jail time the only way to make her face the reality of her actions? Because in the end, the courtroom doesn't answer to confidence. It doesn't bow to smiles. The law speaks last, and on that day, it spoke louder than Hannah Freeman ever imagined.